Segment tonight, just before Christmas, an atheist group purchased a giant sign outside the Lincoln Tunnel here in New York City that said belief in Jesus as God is, quote, a myth. Then just last weekend, another sign appeared, this one in Huntsville, Alabama. The message says this about religion: you know, they're all scams, picturing Christian, Jewish, and Islamic symbols on the sign. So what's going on? With us now, David Silverman, president of the American Atheist Group, which is responsible for both billboards. So why the insults?
Well, they're not insults, they're truths.
Wait. And we just heard Nancy Pelosi said that it's pay as you go. So let's try to get into the truth.
This isn't about pay as you go. This is about telling the truth. Now, if people get offended because we're saying what we believe,
no.
That's not us insulting.
Let's just be regular guys instead of I'm a Catholic, you're atheist. We're just regular guys now, okay? You say something's a scam.
Yep,
on a sign.
A scam.
And then you come in here where millions of people are watching you and say that's not an insult. What does the word scam mean to you?
Scam means it's deliberately misleading people.
And that's not an insult?
It's not an insult to the people. The people are just following.
It's not an insult to the people?
It's a statement to the people who are following the religion. And really, it's attacking the people who are in the pews. Wait a second.
Wait. Now, I'm stick with the insult, because this is certainly an insult in my opinion, and I know I'm not the smartest guy in town, but okay, so religion is a scam, but it's not the people's fault. They've just been lured in.
That's right.
Whose fault is it?
It's the leaders of the religion.
The leaders.
Of course.
All right.
I mean, this is not brain surgery.
The Pope.
The Pope, absolutely.
Right.
Look, this is not brain surgery, and this is not world news. Everybody knows religion is a scam. The only news here is
everybody knows. I don't know, Mr. Silverman.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I got to tell you.
You sit here and you're skeptical every day, and then you go to church and you get on your knees and you pray to an invisible man in the sky.
Invisible man in the sky.
You don't think that's a scam?
No, I don't.
You look at a
I'll tell you why.
Of a man that was built by a man?
I'll tell you why it's not a scam, in my opinion. All right? Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a miscommunication. You can't explain that. You can explain why the tide goes in.
Tide goes in, tide goes out.
See, the water, the tide comes in and it goes out, Mr. Silverman.
Maybe
it always comes in
on top of Mount Olympus who's making the tides go in and out.
No, but you can't explain
that. A scam and a myth are the same. The myth and religion are the same thing. It doesn't matter if I can explain it.
It doesn't?
That doesn't mean that an invisible magic man in the sky is doing it.
And you're free to believe that. But when you insult...
We're not insulting. Look, there are thousands
of
billboards.
You're calling religion a scam and a myth.
It is a scam and it is a myth, but that's a statement of fact. If you get insulted
it is not a statement of fact.
Of course it's
a statement of belief.
It's an invisible man in the sky.
That's what you believe. It's not a fact.
This country is filled with billboards attacking atheists, and this country has several billboards.
Tell me where there's one attacking
just go all up and down the New Jersey Turnpike, and you'll see that we're going to hell, we're going to burn, hell is real.
I've never seen one like that. Can you tell me what exit it is? I'd like to go see it.
8A, go ahead.
All right, and who bought that?
It doesn't matter. The point is they're allowed to say what they want to say. And we're allowed
so
to
say what
we're allowed to say.
Okay. So what good does it do the atheist community in the United States, which according to a Pew Religious Center is about 1%, 1.6% of the American? What good does it do you to insult 80% of the American people by saying they're too stupid to know what they're doing?
We didn't say stupid.
No, but if you say that the people are duped and I can't possibly believe
it, that's the
word. You're calling me a moron.
I'm not calling you a moron.
Yes, you are.
It's the greatest scam in the history of the world.
And then I fall for it.
And you fell for it.
Right. Yeah. So I'm an idiot.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, then how could I not be?
You know, your teaser for this segment was
if it's a fact that they're
religious people in public.
If it's a fact, according to you, that there is no God, then I'd have to be a moron to believe in a God. I'd have to be stupid.
Well, we want you to think about that. And our position is that the churches are filled with atheists. Our position is that the churches are filled with people who know it's a myth, who know it's a scam.
Why do they go to church?
We don't know.
Well, you don't know. You don't know why it is.
Bill, the whole point is that there's a lot of familial and social pressure keeping people into church. But that's a good question.
What good does it do?
They're writing checks and they know it's a scam. They're on their knees and they know it's a scam.
Look, in the personal story segment tonight, do you believe in God? Increasingly, fewer Americans do. According to a Pew poll, 12% of us do not have a belief in a higher power, up from 8% in 1987, and that group includes agnostics. In Europe, the rise of atheism and of Gnosticism is stunning. According to a Zuckerman study, in Sweden, as many as 85% of the population are non-believers. Japan, 65%. France, 54%. And in Britain, 44% do not believe in God in Great Britain. This now is a man who understands that position. Richard Dawkins, the author of the mega-selling best book, The God Delusion. I think it takes more faith to be like you, an atheist, than like me, a believer, and it's because of nature. You know, I just don't think we could have lucked out to have the tides come in, the tides go out, sun go up, sun go down. Don't think it could have happened.
We have a very full understanding of why the tides go in, the tides go out, of why the continents drift about, of why life is there. Science is ever more piling on the evidence, piling on the understanding.
But it had to get there. I understand that you know, the physiology of it, if you will, but it had to come from somewhere. And that is the leap of faith that you guys make, that it just happened.
Well, a leap of faith, you don't actually need a leap of faith. You're the one who needs a leap of faith, because you are actually, the onus is on you to say why you believe in something. There's an infinite number of gods you could believe in. I take it you don't believe in Zeus or Apollo or Thor. You believe in, presumably, the Christian God, Jesus.
See, Jesus was a real guy. I could see him.
Yeah.
You know, and I know what he did. And so I'm not positive that Jesus is God, but I'm throwing in with Jesus rather than throwing in with you guys, because you guys can't tell me how it all got here. You guys don't know.
We're working on it. Physicists are working.
When you get it, then maybe I'll listen.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, if you look at the history of science over the centuries, the amount that's gained in knowledge each century is stupendous. In the beginning of the 21st century, we don't know everything. We have to be humble. We have to, in humility, say that there's a lot that we still don't know.
And, you know, being humble is a Christian virtue.
Well,
so there you go.
Of course it is.
All right, when you guys figure it out, then you come back here and tell me, because until that time, I'm sticking with Judeo-Christian philosophy and my religion of Roman Catholicism, because it helps me as a person.
That's different. If it helps you, that's
absolutely.
Great.
And
that doesn't mean it's true.
Well, it's true for me. You see, I believe.
You mean true for you is different from true for anybody else? How can something be
absolutely,
true for you?
because I can't
Something's either got to be true or not.
I can't, no. I can't prove to you that Jesus is God. So that truth is mine and mine alone. But you can't prove to me that Jesus is not. So you have to stay in your little
You can't
belief
prove
system.
that Zeus is not. You can't prove that Apollo is not. Or
Well, I saw Apollo, man. He was down there. He's not looking good. Now, we also differ in the sense that you feel that religion has been a bane, B-A-N-E, to civilization, and I feel atheism has. And I will point to the worst mass murderers in modern times: Hitler, Stalin, Mao, and Pol Pot. All confirmed atheists, all people who wanted to wipe out religion. Now, I know you can point to the Crusades and you can point to Al-Qaeda right now. I mean, it's there, and there's no question. But I say I'm thrown in with the founding fathers of the United States, which saw religion, spirituality as a moderating influence, as a good thing if people embrace the true tenets. Go ahead.
The founding fathers of the United States were secularists above all. Some of them were religious, some of them were not, but they were above all secularists who believed in keeping church and state
separate. They had to, because of the oppression in Europe.
That was what they were,
right.
Precisely.
But
I mean, that was
almost all of them, they all said a prayer before their deliberations. In their letters, and I have almost all their letters, they all reference the deity. Our Declaration of Independence references heavily. But they saw it as a moderating influence because the federal government at that point couldn't control the country. And they said, you know, if people follow Jesus, then the country is going to be better.
It may well be a moderating influence. As for Hitler and Stalin and so on, I mean, of course, Hitler, by the way, was a Roman Catholic.
No, he never was. He was raised in that home,
yeah, well,
but he rejected it early on.
We can dispute that. Stalin was an atheist, no question. But Stalin did the bad things he did, not because he was an atheist. I mean, Hitler and Stalin both had moustaches, but we don't say it was their moustaches that made them evil.
I don't think they had any moral foundation, any of those guys. I will say,
I don't either.
Your book is fascinating, and you know, congratulations on your success. Thanks for coming on in here.
Thank you very much.
Now, when you talk about these things, somebody in the audience must come up, I assume, and say, well, we only understand 4% of this stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
So
I love it.
How is that different from Bill O'Reilly saying, well, in that case, the rest of it's God? And you guys are you're just expounding beliefs here. You've got no evidence for the 96%.
The difference is, we do understand the tides. The tides are part of the 4% we understand. So Bill O'Reilly is giving a list of things that are fully understood. If he had given a list of things that are not understood, okay, that would be a different reaction. And it would be less susceptible to comedic mockery than saying, tides come in and out, you can't explain that. It's like, yes, we can. We've known that one for the last couple of 100 years. Give me a better example. So if he said, there's dark matter and there's dark energy forcing an expansion of the universe so fast that it's accelerating. You can't explain that. Right. We can't explain it. Okay? I don't think he knows enough physics to be able to tell us what it is we don't understand yet. That would have been a more interesting exchange with the atheist guy. I forgot his name, forgive me, but the guy who he was interviewing. Now, if he wants to use that as evidence for God, but then we just have to come back and say, well, doesn't mean if you don't understand something and the community of physicists don't understand it, that means God did it? Is that how you want to play this game? Because if it is, here's a list of the things in the past that the physicists at the time didn't understand. And a talk show you might have conducted 200 years ago would have said, the planets do retrograde? Can't understand that, must be a God. And we'd say, you know, you're right. And then 10 years later, we understand it, so what do you do? So if that's how you want to invoke your evidence for God, then God is an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance that's getting smaller and smaller and smaller as time moves on. So just be ready for that to happen, if that's how you want to come at the problem. So that's just simply the God of the gaps argument. It's been around forever.
So in fact, people who want to make arguments.
And by the way, wait. And I don't even mind. I don't even care if someone wants to say, you don't understand that, God did it. That doesn't even bother me. What would bother me is if you were so content in that answer that you no longer had curiosity to learn how it happened. If the day you stop looking because you're content God did it, I don't need you in the lab. You're useless on the frontier of understanding the nature of the world.
You know, and I'll tell you why.
A man that was built by a man?
I'll tell you why it's not a scam, in my opinion. All right? Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a miscommunication. You can't explain that. You can explain why the tide goes in.
Tide goes in, tide goes out.
See, the water, the tide comes in and it goes out, Mr. Silverman.
Maybe
it
it's
always comes in
on top of Mount Olympus who's making the tides go in and out.
No, but you can't explain
a scam
that.
and a myth of the same.
You can't explain it.